Hello everybody. Hello, let me switch over to the right image. There I am. Hey everybody, it's me, it's Andy Decade Andy. We're in pre-Moon Poop 2 show. We're here with Big D today. Hello, Big D.
Hello.
Hey. I see Simon Tang in the Discord. Not the Discord, in the chat. Hello, Simon.
Hey, dude.
I'm just setting stuff up. Have I set up everything correctly on YouTube? I'll need to double check.
Well, I'm watching stream on the telly. You've got me down there looking all small.
It's more like the details on YouTube. Yeah, that's all sorted. That's all good.
Yeah.
Because you gotta juggle a lot of extra bits when you're doing the streaming on 2 streams.
I can imagine. I don't envy you for that.
It's not that hard. It's just like things can go wrong quickly if you're not careful. Juggling time. No, not that one. Wait. Oh, there it is. That's the one. There we go. Should we get straight into the show, Big D?
Why not?
Why not?
Why
okay. I will play that music then. Here we go. Music time.
Welcome to Moonbase 2.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Moonbase 2 podcast. My name is Andy Decade Andy. We here with Big D this week talking about the Transformers news before Hasbro PulseCon thingy, which is next week? Question mark. Hello, Big D.
Yes.
Is it next week?
I think so. 17th, isn't it?
Let me just double check.
Week after next.
Hasbro. Is it just called Hasbro PulseCon, right? Hasbro PulseCon 2024. September 13th. That is next week.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Friday.
Hey, all right, we got it. Okay, sweet. So I'm guessing by the time Sunday rolls around, we'll have news to talk about Transformers, and it's not just Transformers, is it? There's going to be everything Marvel-y related there. I imagine.
Yeah, on past form, it should be quite a racket of stuff to chat about. To be fair.
Yeah. Is there anything Star Wars-y that you know about rumor-wise that's going to be coming? Because I know you're a Star Wars Black collector.
Well, I'm a Black Series Mandalorian collector.
Oh, I thought you did the whole stint.
No, if it's got a T visor or if it's in one of the Mandalorian-related shows, I'm probably game for it.
Okay.
I have a frank. I think I now actually have all the Mandalorians they've released to date in some form or other.
Oh, okay.
Which is crazy because I didn't really do Black Series until about 2 years ago.
So, do you have everyone from the Mandalorian at this point, or is it? Are you still missing characters from the show because it had like 3 seasons or something?
I'm trying to think. Actually,
it's meant to be having a movie coming out as well.
Yeah.
In the future.
Thinking about it, I actually do have most of the characters who've had Black Series figures. I don't have Migs Mayfield or the droid from that Prison Heist episode. But I've got Mando, a couple of versions of him. I've got Grief Karga because that was like a $5, and I got it just after Carl Weathers passed. So it's like, oh, saw it. It's like, cool, okay. Cheers, Carl.
Cheers, Carl. Thanks for the figure, Carl.
I've got Bo-Katan. I've got all the Children of the Watch I've released so far. I've got all Bo-Katan's troops so far. The Death Watch Trooper. The Mandalorian Loyalist from the Clone Wars. I don't have the Maul Mandalorian Trooper, the one with the spikes and the red armor.
Right.
I picked up Sabine Wren, the Ahsoka version, because that went out of stock almost as soon as it launched.
Right.
But then Star Action Figures put a load up on their website about a month ago for a lot under RRP. So it was like, please tell me if they're still there. So I grabbed one of those. And I've got a few more Mandos coming. Otherwise, I've got Book of Boba Fett, Fennec Shand, and Black Chrysanthemum. They're actually quite a nice looking trio. I've got Dr. Aphra from the comics. I've seen that they're in the States. They're re-releasing versions of her 000 and BT that came out years ago
Right.
in their original comic appearances. Because the one I've got of her is wearing a trench coat from a very particular issue. But they've been re-releasing those three separately, and I've only got them in those styles in the vintage collection because I pre-ordered the wrong figure set.
That's not good.
That was my own fault though. But no, really, I'm trying to think what we could do Mandalorian wise, because or Black Star Wars wise in general. They might show off more of the E-wing that's coming out for the vintage collection.
Okay.
So I've got that on pre-order. I'm quite looking forward to because it's an E-wing. I've wanted one of those since Dark Forces. They might reveal some tie-ins to Outlaws, the new game.
Oh.
Because they haven't done anything for that yet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a possibility.
I hear that's been a rip-roaring success.
Yeah. I mean,
another Ubisoft successful game. Who knew?
The kicker is that people who I've heard playing it have said it's actually all right. You know, it's not. For a lot of Ubisoft's more egregious practices for that format of game make more sense in the Star Wars universe than anywhere else. So,
wait, what do you mean by that?
Well, you know the thing where you find a spot and suddenly you can see everything in a location and you have everything marked out.
Okay.
Yeah. That makes more sense in the Star Wars universe where you literally have sensors you can use than in, I don't know, Middle Ages Libya.
Do you not think it's weird that you can just like punch everybody out and it's more effective than shooting them?
Yeah, that is a bit weird.
Especially stormtroopers in armor.
Yeah.
And you can just punch them and they just go down like a sack of shit. And the AI is really bad. Like, they don't know how to climb a tower when you're on top of a tower and they can't find you.
Oh dear, I didn't know that.
There's a lot of like really bad programming issues with that game.
Oh, I hadn't heard about that. That's unfortunate. That's really, real unfortunate.
It's pretty poor game.
And again, it's a shame because the main character and her sidekick, I think, do have some quite nifty design going on. They make good figures. So,
okay.
What do I know? Otherwise, let's see. Marvel Legends. Ooh, what could they do for that?
After the Halloween kind of spooky stuff with the Mephisto, not the Mephisto, the Blackheart series, I don't know. There are rumors of what's meant to be coming. So they might show off the X-Force 2-packs, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I mean,
they're meant to be new ones of them. There's meant to be a new Deadpool. Well, it's not a new Deadpool. It's a single release from the San Diego Comic-Con set, apparently. Okay. Which will make a lot of people happy and a lot of people angry for the people that spend extra on the set.
I mean, they could make a lot of Transformers fans happy and announce a recolor, slight retool of Death Set.
Oh, the green version.
Yes.
It's a bit too soon to do that, I think.
That's true.
It's a little too soon. I think they should, just because it's easy money. It's just making.
I think it's kind of inevitable, but I think you're probably right that it is a bit too soon for that one.
Yeah, because it just came out for San Diego Comic-Con. I saw some people like images of what was it, TF Nation selling that figure for like 60, and I was like, holy shit, that's 50% more than it was released for. And I think the price on some other secondary sites are higher than that. And I'm like, holy shit. Wow.
Yeah.
Because it was available on Hasbro Pulse for like the retail price for the UK site for 40, a decent amount. Yeah, for a decent amount of time. It wasn't like, it didn't sell out crazy quick. I was like, guys,
no, I mean, I got a pre-order in for it. So.
Yeah. I guess that's the way. Musashi says that's because Stormtrooper armor is to protect against blasters. Not against what? What?
I mean, he's got a point. The number of Stormtroopers at Endor afterwards we see with cracked armor, and that's not all because the armor's made out of plastic. Honest.
Like if you told me that the Endor armor was made out, the Endor on Endor, that it was the plastic that we used to get for Halloween masks, where it was plastic, but it just crumpled if you sat on it. I wouldn't be surprised if it was similar plastic. Oh my god. Specifically made for blasters, extra damage for punching. Oh my, that'd be crazy.
Oh, I
That'd
love
be
that.
insane. They'd be better without armor.
And
but
yet very in keeping for the Empire, though.
Potentially. But we are here to talk about Transformers. I guess we'll see next week. Oh, yeah. We'll see next week what they'll have in store for us. Otherwise, because I will be talking about Marvel Legends stuff. I think there'll be less G.I. Joe stuff, because for the most part, most of the G.I. Joe characters, the main cast of Cobra guys are now done and out. So it's only like the more off ones I don't care too much about. The Deep series ones.
They've got to be reaching a stage now where they start dipping into the really weird stuff, like the Toxo Vipers and the DEA era.
The only kind of weird Viper I want is the Mega Viper, which was the giant monster that had the squid octopus tentacles.
Yeah, I remember that was a weird ass figure.
Yeah, and I think they were the Eco Force, and there was also the big monkey dude, which I can't remember what that one was called. If they make them, I'd be interested in them, but otherwise I'm like, I might be done.
I'd be amazed and delighted if they did them, because
they're doing Enforcer, and I don't care about anything from Cobra La. I don't like the Cobra La stuff. Wasn't for me. I think the movie's fun enough, but I don't want to own any of those figures.
I have to admit, the Cobra La stuff does make you think, what drugs were they taking in the design studio when the writers' room when they pitched that idea?
It was 90s. I don't know. It was that turning of the tide.
Could they share them with everyone else, please?
There was like an idea there. I think for a spin-off, like doing basically what's it called? Not In the Mouth of Madness. The Cthulhu, the H.P. Lovecraft story in the Antarctic. Gruff would know off the top of his head. Doing that story, but with G.I. Joe, not a terrible idea, I suppose.
I think it's In the Mountains of Madness.
In the Mountains of Madness, thank you. Yeah. Doing that kind of story, not a terrible idea. But it is really weird. Really weird, or was.
Perhaps not in your kids' military pew toy line?
Well, no, not for your movie, not for your centerpiece movie. Maybe it's like a weird what-if story comic. That's fine. Also making Cobra Commander like a weird like person from the mountains as well was kind of odd.
Yeah.
Because whenever I think of Cobra Commander, I think of that image of him kicking a dog, and I'm like, he's just a dick. He doesn't need to be a snake person. He's just an asshole. It's fun.
Yeah. Comic Cobra Commander's the best version, to be honest, because
and it could be anybody. That's a good thing about him.
Yeah.
It could be anybody, and that was the good thing about him.
And even when you learn his backstory, it's like, well, he even eventually turns around and says, "Nah, the backstory is shit. I've always been a shit. Don't care."
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, that's how it should be. Orange just came in. Welcome, Orange. And Musashi says, "Do G.I. Joe in the halls of the Mountain King?" Ooh, that'd be interesting.
Ooh,
that'd be interesting. But toy news, third-party news. We're starting off today with the New Age toys. They're doing the H67. That's right, Varan, the Legend Scale Snarl. These are two releases, of course. We have the toy version, which is the C. Sorry, the comic color, which is the C, and the EX, which is the toy deco, apparently. The C, which is the Marvel comic deco, has two interchangeable hands. A sword, and then the toy deco has interchangeable hands, two sets of interchangeable hands, a gun, and a sword. Which is usually the way of things. We've seen these before. This is the general style of them. I can't remember if we've had all of the snarls out at this point. But Big D, what do you think of the comic one? Do you like it with his very, very blue face?
I do, actually. There's some nice saturation to the colours on that one. I dig that quite a lot. And it's nice to see them. I've said it before. I like how New Age do give the collectors community as much variety as they do, because so many other companies would maybe just hold off, or they'd make them really hard to find, but they're just like, nope, here's all the variants.
I guess if I wanted to point out a problem to doing all the variants is they don't all consistently have the same accessories. And it would be nice if everything had like, maybe not exactly the same accessories, but for the most part, if they had like a blast effect or a gun, minimum they should have the hands. Obviously they all do, and they should have both gun and sword, I feel, rather than just sometimes one or both of them.
I do get why they've not given the comic version the gun, because in the comics most of the Dinobots don't really use their guns.
Oh, then they should have given him the effects part. One of the effects
That would
part
have
for
been
like
nice.
fire breath
Yeah.
or something, the tail lasers, which the other versions have had in the past. It's just a weird extra choice. But it looks solid. Has he got extra paint around his eye? I think he does. Because that weird drip effect, the backwards drip effect. What about the toy version? From what I remember, it looks very much like the toy, and it's also got the translucent plastic head for the dinosaur mode, as is the style of the time.
This gives me big nostalgia because I had Snarl as a kid. He was before, I think, for like 6 years before I managed to get hold of Grimlock when we did him in Classics. I had Snarl.
Oh, here's a question for you then. You know his back legs? You know how they clip in when you transform them? You push the arms or the hands up into the leg on a spring, and then he folds his little legs forward and they clip into place. Did either of the clips break for you?
Yes.
Okay, mine too. Yeah, I had the G2 version and only one broke for me. But I wondered if that was a thing because it was I think it's translucent plastic on both the original version and the G2 version for those clips. Which
I remember I went through. I think I went through 2 Snarls in the first year I had him because the leg hinge broke and the head hinge broke.
How the leg hinge break?
Well, the hinge where, like you said, where it.
Oh, I thought you meant his robot legs.
Oh no! Surprisingly, though. No, it was mainly just that little spring effect for his arm to come out of.
What was the head thing then?
Oh, the dinosaur mode head had a tendency to break because of how it splits in half. I had I think one peg break, but it was the inner peg. The one further to the front of the dinosaur was fine, so it still held together well enough. But yeah, that also broke on me. Yeah, one of mine had the whole hinge holding one side of the head on broke.
Oh God, how'd that happen?
Poorly.
Oh.
Yeah. And the way the top of the back spines was on a separate panel, that had a tendency to snap eventually.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Again,
I used a lot of glue on my Transformers over the years.
We say it every time. Reissue these guys, fix these problems. People buy them. And they do.
Hell yeah. If you offered me a full set of the G1 Dinobots that were just tooled in non-translucent plastic.
Yeah.
And came with all the accessories. £100, yeah. I'll take a set, please.
That'd be all right. In this day and age, for the 5 of them, they'd definitely be more than £100, guaranteed. I reckon they'd sell a gift set of the 5 Dinobots together. Ooh, how shitty would they be? 150, maybe 200?
For those prices, I want the diecast still in there.
No, that wouldn't happen. I'm just thinking of how shitty Hasbro could be, and I think they could bump it up to 150. Be like, it's the first time the Dinobots have been redone. We had to make new molds for them or something, and you'd be like, I don't know. What do you think of the different heads then on compared to the comic one and this one? Because the toy one has a different head, I noticed.
Let me just double.
Yeah. It's hard to tell because of how the the comic one's painted just blue, but there is a difference in the head.
And there's a different head as well.
Yeah.
I actually quite like how they've done that because, for one thing, it gives the toy version his own. It makes the two really stand out as different to each other more than the decos. But the comic version, that is comic and cartoon Snarl's head to a T.
Oh,
pretty much. Yeah. But the toy one, that is how I think of Toy Snarl. That is black helm, silver face, a little bit of a crest in the middle, horns. Yeah, I dig that. It's got a little bit of extra detail to it that is missing from the comic version.
I don't know if they've shown a shattered glass version, but I reckon if you do use the shattered glass version or do one, you probably use the toy head because it looks a bit meaner, a bit more angry. That's the one I'd go for personally. Yeah, these are both pretty good looking. If you are missing a Snarl and you have the sets so far, and pick your poison, I suppose, the comic or this version, or wait for the Shattered Glass version or the translucent version, or whichever versions haven't been released. Who can keep track at this point in time?
Yeah.
I can't.
These are new. So they're going to be what, 50 quid? Less than that?
Does it say on? Let's check on Shozy, because Shozy has their stuff. So let me have a quick sneebly booble.
Good plan.
What they called? New Age Toys. New Age Toys. All right, so they're not up for pre-order yet, but Slag is $69 US, $69.70. So that translates to, when I do my flimbly bimbles to British pounds, 54.24.
Okay.
For third-party stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And for the amount of engineering you get, it's
absolutely
not the best prices ever, but it's it's the standard, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, looking at what's going on with these figures, I mean, the amount of articulation, the engineering, the lack of gaps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty reasonable, to be honest.
It's fair, yeah. Obviously, it'd be nice if they were cheaper, but it's fine. It's fine. Shall we move on? Next bit of news. Musashi says the Dino mode is so babyface. I love it. I could see that. It's got a little derpy, stupid, boo boo babby face.
I mean, that's Snarl. He's a Stegosaurus. They're stupid animals.
Well, he's a Stegosaurus with a very stylized head, I suppose, right? He's got duck head more than anything else.
Yeah.
Like, if Mikey was here, he'd probably talk about the accuracy of the Dinobots in general at this point, which is probably not super accurate. We did
What's
get
that
to
sound. I can hear in the wind. It's Mikey getting really irate.
Angry Irishman. We have official images now from the convention we talked about last week. So I may as well get Big D's opinion on this. The Godbomber special box set. This is obviously the masterpiece big figure. The exclusive release of the aforementioned Godbomber with these additional things, the additional parts to recreate a never-released Godbomber first prototype, 2 display bases, and a special box for both Godbomber and Super Jinrai. The box is labeled MPG-14S God Jinrai. So I guess if you don't have one, you can get both of them.
Yeah.
Something like that. So what do you think of this then, Big D? How do you feel about your God bombing?
I think it looks pretty decent, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of articulation, which I honestly wasn't expecting for a God Bomber. He's never normally the most posable of chaps, but this one's pretty decent. Alt mode is the alt mode. The extra option parts to make a prototype version of him, that's nice. It's not an essential thing, but it's nice he got the option.
Yeah,
options are good.
What do you think of the prototype head? Because it's different. Let's say I don't think it's iconic.
No, it's a little on the derpy side, but I think it kind of fits what that version of it's supposed to be anyway. So
I think that head makes him look more drone than individual robot.
Yeah, that's a fair argument.
Because it does remind me of another robot head, but I can't place who.
I'm getting a little bit of Brawn to some extent, not entirely.
Is it just because of the shape, right? It's almost a similar shape.
A bit of a shade, a bit of the shape at the sides, but full front on. I mean, it looks a little highbrow-esque, or possibly Takara Hardhead, like a headmaster.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the headmaster kind of look to it. Granted, it's not a huge picture of it directly face on, so it's harder to tell, but I can see where you're coming from there. I like the samurai sword he comes with, though I don't remember him using a samurai sword. I'm sure he did during the show. I just can't remember.
Yeah, when. I mean, it's an option that comes with a few. I mean, I've got the DNA upgrade to the Takara version, and that comes with a whopper of a samurai sword. Which I can't remember ever using in the show, but I'm thinking, it's a sword.
Used it. Yeah, they probably used it, but when, I don't know. Who knows?
It looks nice, though. I like the combined mode.
The base that you get is the standard base we've been getting now for Masterpiece Toys for a while. It's just the Cybertronian floor, but this is CG render, so it looks like it might be orangey red. I don't know how bright the orange is going to be in reality. But maybe it's trying to go for that Autobot orange color, but it's what you would expect. Interchangeable. You can
I like
put them together.
The arm actually attaches to both parts, so you got a nice stable base to pose God Jinrai in. So that's going to be...
I don't think that's any different from their previous ones, but not having them, I can't remember offhand. I think I'm pretty sure it's the same. And yeah, the combined mode, you like it generally, you'd say?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a fan of Super God Jinrai. It's the first time I saw it watching the cartoon back in Hong Kong, it kind of blew my little mind. So I was like, wait, Power Master Prime gets even more powered up? So...
Do you think it's a shame he doesn't come with the guns on the side of his feet, which granted isn't animation accurate, but was part of the original toy?
Oh, yeah. That's a very good point.
I just noticed that.
Huh.
They gave him all these extra accessories, but not the accessory to make. Granted, the shitty base mode, which was terrible, but it's not there. Do we? I don't know. I don't even know if Godbomber can make the base mode. Oh no, it's Jinrai that makes the base mode.
Yeah,
right? Yeah, it's Jinrai. I can't remember if Jinrai.
But Jinrai comes with those two guns, doesn't he?
I don't know. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. It does have pegs on the side of the feet, so maybe they just didn't photo him with the guns in the side of his feet for whatever reason. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I just noticed that and was like, hang on a tick.
Let me just have a quick check.
And we do have images as well of the big trailer mode when they're all trailed up together. Big and long. If you like them big and long, there you go. You should be happy with that, I'm sure. And like you say, we got Godbomber in normal Godbomber robot mode as well. And looks, again, like you said, fairly posable for a Godbomber. Yeah. I guess.
His RRP is about 160, which I think is pretty standard for that sort of size.
Standard Masterpiece stuff at this point. Simon Tang asks, do you have the old Legends release, Takara? Big D does, I don't.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Not the gift box version, but I do have the Legends versions of both characters. And I've just checked, and Super Jinrai does come with those double blasters that would attach to his feet. So that might be something they just haven't shown.
Yeah, maybe they just didn't want to show off stuff that wasn't part of the Godbomber stuff to try and pump it up. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
And Excel Hedge says Jinrai comes with the standard accessories. The big thing is Takara wanted to give MPG the option to be animation or toy accurate. Oh, there you go. Yeah, which makes sense. So he's coming. There might be a repaint in the future. There's no guarantee there'll be the Fire Guts version, but I guess it could happen as an exclusive or something, potentially. I'd be surprised if they didn't just get out a free and easy repaint, because, expensive and whatnot. Especially as an exclusive for Japan. Maybe I don't think they'll do general release for Fire Guts, because it would be too expensive, but I could see it being an exclusive to like the Takara Tomy Mall or something.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing I expect that to be.
Yeah. Simon says, Big D, will you sell your old set to finance the new Masterpiece G?
Oh, that's a good question, because it's got all the Perfect Effect upgrades and Toy Hack stickers on it. And I did kind of spend as much as I did with 2 figures just on the Perfect Effect bits, because I'm stupid.
Do you have Masterpiece Jinrai just on its own?
I've got it on pre-order.
Oh, okay. Well, it sounds like if you've got him on pre-order, you're probably going to get.
I've pre-ordered both.
There you go.
I'm kind of at the stage where I've got till December to get enough cash together to pay for them.
Well, I guess what you could do is you could sell your Legends.
Get a job.
You could sell your Legends Jinrai, Godbomber, and the Perfect Effect stuff, and like Simon Tang said, it would finance this.
Yeah.
Potentially.
I'm getting a bad feeling now. I don't like trying to sell stuff. It makes me all feel funny.
I guess there's always the worry about, like, you get it and you don't like these ones compared to those ones. But then you would, at that point, you probably would then have to sell one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've got time still to make my decision. So we'll see.
Time's running out, though. It's September law. Christmas is right around the corner. Fat man on a sled's coming, baby. Bring Christmas cheer and cheer to everybody. So that's Jinrai. There was also this set that we didn't. I didn't talk about it because I didn't care too much. But this is the Takara Tomy Dramatic Capture Series, which I guess is a thing now. The triple takeover set from that one silly episode, or the one really cool animation on YouTube. This set is the 3-pack of Studio Series Coronation Starscream, Legacy Blitzwing, which sold incredibly well and was really hard to get. Ha 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 ha. And Siege Earth Astro Train, but with none of the extra parts, aka none of the shitty launch shuttle bay thingy that he had. I think he was also a leader, right? Yeah, he was, right?
Yeah.
Astro Train.
Yeah, he was the first one. Maybe people go, wait, you want us to pay how much for this?
Yeah, because Shockwave at least came with lots of stuff to big him up, and then
It looked really silly. Yeah.
And then Astro Train came with the box that unfolded out to be nothing. That's right. So this set is going to be live, or the pre-orders are live now, or have been live now. They might all be gone. For 16,500 yen, which is about 114 US dollars. So that's probably about 100 and something pounds, I guess, give or take.
When I put my pre-order in for Hoblink Japan, it showed up as about 85.
Okay. Yeah, that's not including postage, though, is it?
It's not, but I say I get so much ship. I don't ship any one item on its own anymore. I always always ship lots of stuff, so it balances out.
And it's going to be released in April, so it's going to be a while before it comes out. However, you could probably have got this set cheaper, considering how no one wanted Blitzwing.
I have Blitzwing. I have the Voyager version of Starscream. I just want Astro Train. God damn it! Because have you tried to buy an Astro Train recently?
No, because I didn't like that mold, and I was like, I just will wait for a new one. Because I never thought too much of the Siege Astro Train.
Which is fine. I mean, I have the repaint as Galaxy Ships. I actually do I quite enjoyed it. But I just want a decent Astro Train, or a half-decent Astro Train, because the two previous ones I have issues with.
What were the two previous ones? The Titans Return one, which was...
The Titans Return one is ridiculously floppy for some reason.
Oh, you got the American version. Oh.
No. I didn't.
You got the Japanese one?
No, I did get the American version. He's just floppy as hell.
Yeah, I don't think the Japanese Legends version was desperately floppy. It had some weird design choices, though. Also, it was toy colored, if I remember the American release, which was odd.
Yeah.
Also, Titan Master, which again was odd.
Yeah.
And the Classics one, I think the Classics one's okay, but it's a deluxe, and it's very old at this point. Yeah. Very old.
Yeah. I just want a Astro Train that scales properly and does maybe want to hurt myself in the time I transform it.
Like the Titans Return one, you mean? Or do you mean the Classics one?
Both of them.
They both make you want to hurt yourself? Wait. I could accept maybe the Titans Return. I don't accept that for the Classics one. Well, I think the Classics one's all right. It's not bad.
What's wrong with it? Bad.
What's wrong with it?
It just makes my head hurt into a... All right, I like that it's a bullet train, but it's too small. Like I say, it's a deluxe. It should have been bigger.
So that's the reason you don't like it, because it's too small. That's fine. I was trying to work out why it made you want to hurt yourself.
It's not an uncommon complaint, Andy.
I wanted to know why it made you want to hurt yourself, though. And it's just he's small. It's like, oh, man. Poor guy. This is what it's like today when you're like under 6 foot, man. Like, no one likes you. Sorry, Astro Train. So this is a clean version of the Starscream. I don't know if there's a huge amount of difference, because I never got the Coronation Starscream, because the Earthrise mold, again, for Starscream's not great. It's kind of poo. It's not much of an upgrade, sadly enough, from the Classics version. I think the painting might be better on Blitzwing, but I can't tell. I think it's a deeper shade of purple. It looks more cartoon purple, deeper purple and whatnot. And the Astro Train
grey on. Did Blitzwing have those grey panels on the original release? I'm sure
on the treads. I don't think so.
I was thinking more, because I'm sure those were more tan. The panels on those with darker grey on the actual treads themselves. So that's different. And you're not being forced to buy a pair of hot cans.
I'm guessing they decided to mold them in grey so they wouldn't have to paint them grey. Maybe I'm guessing. Maybe they are painted. Maybe they are painted grey. It's hard to tell. Does make it a little bit more noticeable on the jet mode, but the jet mode's such a weird clusterfuck anyway. It's like, well, what's it matter?
Yeah.
Poor Blitzwing
Blitzwing's
still needs a good toy because he doesn't have one here. I think the Times Return one was better, a lot better. It was stylized, but it had an idea of what it was trying to do, and it did it fairly successfully.
Yeah.
This is just
the robot mode is fantastic, though. I love the robot mode.
That's the only mode that was the win here. Everything else was sacrificed to that, unfortunately. It's a real bummer.
Blitzwing is for kind of like the poster boy for being too slavishly addicted to the G1 cartoon aesthetic. Because that tank has no reason for that cockpit to be there except someone watched the cartoon and got a hard on for it.
And I don't even think they did that correctly either. I don't think it looks like the correct. I can't. I mean, if you pulled up like an animation frame and you put it side by side, it'd be like they're not the same though.
The damning thing is that the G1 Blitzwing toy had a better tank mode, and the jet mode was cleaner because the only thing hanging underneath the body of the robot was the gun turret.
Yeah,
from the tank, and that has everything from the tank's side plates hanging underneath it.
Yeah, the obvious problem with the G1 toy is the robot mode's a little bit,
Yeah.
It's of its time. Let's be kind. It's of its time.
It's of its time.
For the time, it was like, it's good enough. That was fine.
But, if the alt modes can be that good 40-odd years ago, can we not make them work with a decent robot mode, please?
I think for me, what I would do, or what I would like focus on as a designer is like make the robot mode good, and then you choose which mode you want to make really good. Do you make the tank really good, or do you make the jet really good? And then if the other mode's not good, you go, well, at least we tried. We got two things. We got the most important, which is the robot mode, and then we got another good vehicle mode instead of like. A good robot mode and then two reasonably bad vehicle modes, I would say.
Yeah.
Simon Tang says the cannon hands were silly on Blitzwing. Yeah, it doesn't look like you get them here. He seems to just come with two guns, which is nice. Orange says I'd love a Voyager class upscale of the classics Astro Train, like they upscaled the classic Starscream. No, let's just make a new mold. let's just make, because the upscaling of the classic Starscream was not good. It just looks old. It's like if you did a upscale of was it Universe Galvatron that was originally meant to be a Voyager. If you did that now, and you were like, oh, here's a new Galvatron, it would be a very old kind of poo toy, just bigger. So I'd say don't do that. Don't do that. Orange also says a leader class Grimlock. What? I'm sure that's related to something we said.
I'm looking at one right now.
Oh, okay. An XL Hedge says, rip Blitzwing's Hulk hands. Yeah, they're gone. They're gone. Just like Astro Train's launch bay. Astro Train seems to have some nice extra detail painted on his train mode. And by extra, I mean...
Yeah, that was good.
By extra, I mean like 2 bits, which is one window on each side, so 2 windows. And then the little, I don't know, the stick bits that go into the wheels that pump them round, whatever you call them. I'm not a train man.
I don't think they're pistons. I think they're...
No.
I don't think it's arms either.
No, I don't know. I'm not a train man. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're the painted grey, so they stand out more, and I'm pretty sure they weren't painted originally. So... and I don't think they've added anything extra. Starscream comes with his cape. Doesn't seem like he comes with his chair. But that's it.
Sorry, I just realized Orange just said you missed the classics and Leader Class Classics Grimlock.
Oh, okay. The classics in Leader Class. I don't know.
So you mean a Leader Class version of Classics Grimlock?
No. Because Classics Grimlock wasn't very good. He wasn't the worst of the classic figures. That was Hot Rod or Rodimus, whichever one it was. Then it was probably Grimlock. It was the next worst out of the classic stuff.
But I always admired that the classics line really went all in on trying to modernize the aesthetics.
Yeah.
Of the characters. Still kept them as characters, but gave them a fresh.
Well, that's
spin.
what Universe was. That's what the Chug line was for the longest time. I like that Chug series. It was reasonably good. Not everyone was a winner. Like Ironhide was not. Jesus.
Oh God, no.
Ironhide was a shit show. The Studio Series Ironhide is probably the first good Ironhide we've ever had. I think. I don't think we've ever had an Ironhide that good. Every other Ironhide previously, G1 Ironhide, has been poo.
Yeah.
So the Studio Series, once they did the one not of translucent plastic, at least.
Yeah.
You know, after that. But yeah, this set, it seems like Japan's just going, here's another 3-pack, which seems like a thing because we got, who was Optimus Prime? Was it Jazz or Prowl?
Jazz and Mainframe in his toy colors.
That's right, which was a weird set. We've had Megatron, Soundwave, and Shockwave. I think was the last one. So he's another set, I guess.
Yeah.
Rock and roll. I don't know why Japan's doing this, apart from maybe just to have these figures just re-released into their market again, because they did come out.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe it's an anniversary thing or something. I'm not sure.
I mean, it's a nice way of bundling these figures in a nice, relatively affordable package.
I guess, yeah. And let's be fair, the Coronation Starscream chair, I don't think anyone's going to be super annoyed to not get that. And if they wanted it, they got it in the previous pack.
I was going to say, if they've been buying these boxes, they've already got one.
Yeah, to be fair, that chair, Starscream couldn't sit in that chair if he had the cape on. Megatron can, so it makes sense that he had the chair anyway. But yeah, any thoughts on this set? Did you say you pre-ordered this one, Big D?
I put a pre-order in for it. I'll be honest, I'm not sure if they'll fulfill it because I pre-ordered the Decepticon, the previous Decepticon one, and that came and went. And when I asked about it, they were like, they couldn't give me an answer as why they didn't get any in stock. So I was like,
nice.
Right, you couldn't have told me ahead of time, so I could cancel my pre-order.
Well, funnily enough, my Amazon pre-order for, the set with Barrage and Chop Shop, that's been pushed back to January next year. And I'm like, you're not going to fulfill that.
You might as well just order it from somewhere else at this point if anyone gets it in.
I don't think anyone has, and it was cheaper, so I'll just keep it on there. I'm not desperate enough to pay, extortionate prices on it. I don't care that much, but,
But if In Demand or someone gets one in for RRP price, or
if it's from In Demand, it won't be RRP price. It'll be higher because it'll be a restock. And usually they had the Sentinel 2-pack for the Marvel Legends line, which was on Hasbro Pulse at the time, but was more expensive on In Demand because they had to pre-order it in, or they had to import it in. So it was more expensive there.
Well, if it's an import, I understand it. But
same. It's just I'm not paying. I can't justify paying extra.
That's fair though. I get that.
Money, not for Andy. Next up, we have one of these figures, which at this point I feel everyone should have already had. I guess this is the 40th anniversary retro Optimus Prime stock images. Yes, it is another reissue of Optimus Prime, the G1 figure. I think we've talked about this figure before, but I'm not entirely sure. It's hard to keep track. Like I say, there are a lot of reissues of G1 Optimus Prime. It's in the OG box. It has, they talk about real nostalgic feel and all that stuff. I think it comes with it. Yeah, it comes with the remolded head, so it looks more cartoon accurate. It comes with more animation head and more animation colors to him. No stickers, it seems, which is interesting, especially for the inside of the truck, because I'm sure there were stickers inside that cab.
Yeah.
Sorry, trailer, not cab. But if you wanted a Optimus Prime, you still didn't have one. This is a way to get one. And if you wanted one again and you just wanted it to be more accurate to the cartoon, but not at the same time, because obviously it's a G1 figure, this is an option. Are you tempted, Big D, to have yet another G1 Optimus Prime? Do you have already a G1 Optimus Prime?
You know what? I don't. The closest I have is the Earthrise Optimus Prime and MP1 Convoy.
Yeah, no, that's not G1 Optimus Prime.
I have never owned a G1 Optimus Prime.
Oh, is there a reason?
Not really. I mean, when I started in on Transformers, I think Prime was kind of that year's it toy, so he was impossible to get hold of.
Mm-hmm.
The following year, I bought Ultra Magnus, and then year or two after that, I had the Power Master Prime. At which point, I had no need for another Optimus Prime. Even when they did some of the classics and G1 G2 reissues. So
There'd be loads of reissues over the years. There was
Oh,
the
absolutely.
commemorative series that happened around the Armada era. There was around the same era. There was the Takara book series, which is the one I got to replace my old one. Optimus. I think eHobby did a reissue of Optimus.
Yeah.
There's been loads and loads.
I probably should get one at some point, just because it's kind of like the obvious thing for a Transformers collector to have, especially of our vintage. But I don't know. I mean, I haven't even gotten that
Didn't you
super
pre-order Missing
posable
Link out of interest?
I did, but then I cancelled it because I had some other stuff I wanted to get in preference.
All right.
And not because I had any dislike of the figure at all. I thought it looked fantastic, to be honest. I was trying to focus on some other stuff at the time. So
that's fair. Excel Hedge says G1 is Toon Deco, meaning there won't be stickers inside. Yeah, obviously. Yeah. It's just kind of weird to see a completely blank trailer. Meanwhile, I'm still wishing for a G2 reissue. It is weird that after all these years, they haven't done like the G2 version, because it's not that much different. It's slightly different colors, and then has just like a black trailer cab and then a voice box, and that's it. There's very little to the G2 version. It's weird that they haven't done it, because it's just feels like something easy that they could do.
I mean, how long is
it? The voice box, I guess.
I mean, how long is it till the 40th anniversary of G2? 6 years, 7 years.
Yeah, probably something like that, right?
Yeah, give it a bit of time. They'll do it eventually.
It's just weird they haven't done it already. Again, because it's such an easy repaint.
Yeah, you're right. It is a bit of a surprise, that.
Yeah, again, like I say, maybe it's just the audio box that they don't want to deal with. Maybe it's too expensive for them to justify it somehow. I don't know. Licensing, that could be another thing. They just haven't thought about it. One of the two. Next up, we have Transformers Galactic Trials. It's a video game that's coming out. It's done by Outright Games, who did the Battlegrounds and Earthspark video games, which were not good. Arguably, kind of, they were the games that you'd find in like a £5 bin. And this seems to be another one of those £5 bin kind of games that you get your kid. It seems to be a weird Mario Kart game, as there seems to be racing. You don't get to choose when you transform, but you then get shunted into a racing third-person platforming segments where you are in robot mode and then hitting enemies as well. But I assume that it's just meant to delay you as you're still meant to get to the finish line.
Okay.
That's what it looks like from the footage. It looks like Mario Kart and then third-person action Mario Kart for a bit as well, which I guess is an idea. 11 playable characters, each with different abilities and whatnot. Relics you collect to modify said abilities as well. But still not like a game that would be desperately interesting, or I think you should pay full price for. Like, if it's between this and like Space Marine 2, you're probably better served getting Space Marine 2. I'm going to throw that out there.
Yeah.
The designs are evergreen designs, if you wondered. I think we mentioned that before. What do you think of this, Big D? Are you rushing to get the Galactic Trials? Also, what a strange name for a Transformers game.
You know what? It's a funny thing. I'm not.
No. I think if you're young, if this is like £15, it won't be. But if this was £15, you'd be like, yeah, sure, I'd buy this for a kid relative just to get them into Transformers. Sure, why not?
Yeah,
45,
my
50,
nephew,
60, however much games are now.
My nephew just got a Switch for his birthday a few months back. If this was a decent price, if this was a half decent price, I might get it for him for Christmas.
What do you consider decent price out of interest?
Like you said, under 20 quid.
Oh yeah, okay. So it will be. Maybe next year it'll be under 20 quid.
Oh yeah.
Maybe summer next year will be under 20 quid.
Yeah. It's kind of a shame because honestly, a Mario Kart type racing game, something with lots of power ups and mad vehicular combat, is kind of a bit of a no brainer to try and fit Transformers into. But this looks like the least effort required.
I'll give it to them. The idea of like it being a Mario Kart racing game, and then you're forced to transform in very specific areas, and then you do. I don't even know what you'd call it. There was an indie game, I think called Free Runners or something like that, where you had to battle each other in and speed.
Okay.
Maybe it's called Speed Runners, and you had to like zip around with like wires, and you had each of them had superpowers. It seems like here, like I say, you will get into a third-person mode, and then you'll take the quickest route, and then pick up energon cubes as well. Maybe you get more points for destroying the enemies around. I'm not entirely sure.
I've just seen it has multiplayer for up to 2 people.
Wow, 2 people?
Jesus.
Wow. Not even 4. Mario Kart could do 4.
I
don't know.
That's a bit poor, I must admit.
For a party game, I think you want 4.
Yeah.
But the screen will be small. It doesn't matter. We deal with that. Do you remember the Nintendo 64? Do you remember playing GoldenEye? Round at a friend's house and them having like a 12-inch screen on 4-player? I do. I remember pushing my face right up against that screen so I could see what I was doing as Odd Job. Wah! Hack the knees. Every time.
You were that player, were you?
We all had the Odd Job game. Everybody played Odd Job. My characters were Odd Job.
That makes it more fair then.
Yeah, because in the not Odd Job games, I was what was his name, Jaws, because he had metal teeth, and I didn't know anything about James Bond, and I was like, he's got metal in his teeth. That's pretty cool. I like it. You can eat people. Yeah, there you go. Transformers. One of the games is coming. It doesn't look like a game that'd be super well served on well, not the Switch, on the powerhouses are the PS5 and the Xbone. Doesn't look like a game that's really going to push them too hard. But there you go. Yeah, it's a Transformers game. No High Moon Studios, unfortunately.
Sadly not.
Coming. Anything else you want to say on this one, Big D?
Not really. It exists. Like you said, it probably, if it keeps a few kids entertained, fair play to them.
Yeah. Otherwise, get Space Marine 2. It looks better.
Rip and tear.
Yeah. Next, I'm not going to eat Krull or Crow or my hat or anything like that, but we got in-hand images now of Legacy Slipstream, and it looks a lot better than the promotional images of Slipstream. This time round, I still think the head looks a little bit weird for my taste personally. It still just looks like a Starscream head, but it seems like they've done an interesting thing of it's not just one color of purple on the figure. It is lavender, purple, kind of a bluish metallic color as well to all kind of mesh together. It's almost too many colors in some ways, but it looks a lot more visually interesting than it did originally. Even though I still don't think the head for me works for Slipstream, it still just looks like Girl Starscream, which I guess you could argue it is, but I'd like it a little bit more for my Slipstream, to be honest. The jet mode, again, is still not a very good jet mode because it's wind blades, and that was a messy jet mode to begin with. She still can't have her null rays on her arms, which is something they really should have. I don't know. I don't know if they could have fixed it, but they should have done something.
I mean, if they'd left those fins off of her forearms, there's enough space there they could have fit a post hole in.
Yeah. I can't remember. Did Windblade have those backward wings on her forearms?
She does, yeah.
Oh, well, that'd be why. They just didn't want to remold that part, which is a bit of a shame. But I will say, I think the figure does look better than when we originally saw her. I still don't think it saves the figure for me personally. I still think the mold has too many issues for my liking. But Big D, what do you think? Do you like the extra color pop to Slipstream?
I'm kind of torn because I do like that extra poppiness to that brighter purple, but it's just for placement to me seems odd. The fact
of which part of the pinky purple, the purple, the lavender, which color do you mean?
The pinky purple, just the fact that it's just her shoulders and her wings in robot mode.
I 100% agree. I think it wouldn't be bad if it was just the wings. I think it's the shoulder pads that because the shoulder pads don't conform with the rest of the robot. But if it's just the wings, that's fine. What color would you have chosen for the shoulder pads? Because I think I would have gone for the groin and forearm colors for the shoulder pads.
Either that or the color they've used for her chest plate.
That would have been good
purple.
as well. Yeah, I think because there's not much of that color on her. It doesn't look like. So that would have been a better choice, I think.
But I mean, I'm not as down on the op mode as you are. I do understand your reasoning why you're down on it. I don't object as much. I actually like some fun. There's some neat engineering going on with like how the nose cone is hidden away and folds out again. I like that. It's just there's some really weird choices here that it feels like they've picked Slipstream purely because they had Windblade in the line and they didn't do anything to make her feel more like Slipstream.
Well,
other than
the Hasbro mentality is, or it seems to be, we will do one girl body and then we'll just do a new head for each of them, and that's it. We're not going to make too many unique female molds, which I think is a bit half-assed. I'd rather see some interesting molds specifically for female Transformers, but I guess maybe a reasoning they don't do it is maybe they just don't sell as well. But I might say that maybe if you did some decent unique body sculpts and transformations for each of them, maybe they would sell. Yeah.
And I'm kind of disappointed for not, because the original version of Slipstream, the Nullray is actually clipped over the forearm.
They did. It was a little bit awkward.
It was a little bit, but I thought it was quite a novel approach to it, because it just meant instead of having to retool the arms on the thing, you just tooled a completely new accessory.
I think I can tell you why that was done there, but not here. I think it's due to toy production stuff differences between Japan and the US.
Yeah,
I would imagine might be the excuse used. I don't think Hasbro would do it because the way that those clipped onto the wings was fine. But it was I like doing it, like taking them on and off. I'm always concerned that those clips are going to break, and if those break, you're fucked.
Absolutely, but I can just looking at the two Nullrays they've given her.
Yeah,
I can see looking there right now. Even with the pegs, there is enough space in the body of the Nullray. You'd probably have carved out a cavity that would have slipped over those little wings on the forearms and just held on by friction.
Yeah. I think there was a more elegant solution than just go and give the Nullrays peg.
Yeah,
because if you want to annoy people, be like, hey, a Starscream clone or a Seeker that doesn't have the proper Nullrays. It's just it's weird. It's like giving Optimus Prime a broadsword instead of an axe. It's like, well, I guess you can, but he's got an axe. Don't give him a broadsword. What are you doing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's an upgrade kit from someone that replaces the Nullrays with something that does that, to be honest.
I'm wondering how they do it. Would they just have, because the arms like from the bicep down are on mushroom pegs going into those shoulders. I wonder if they just be like completely replace those arms and you just pull them out and then replace them with new arms that have like Nullray ports on them somewhere, or if there's another solution that they go for. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. I think you're right. I think a third-party company will do something about it because it's an easy sell. If you can figure out a way to do it, people will buy it because it's the thing that's missing from her. Orange says her colors are a clusterfuck. I kind of agree, and
they're a little messy.
I think there's just maybe too many colors. I think that might be the issue.
Yeah, it's not a complaint to make about a Transformer. There's too much going on.
Yeah,
too many colors.
Black, lavender, silver, teal,
metallic turquoise, metallic teal. Yeah.
What did I say? The purple, the pinky purple, the dark purple for the forearms. So that's already like 8 colors.
Yeah.
Red eyes still counts. 9 colors. 9 colors on one figure is a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot. You probably pull back some of these colors. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, I still think it looks. I still think it looks a bit more visually interesting than when we originally saw her. But it's still not a figure I would want to get, and I still think has issues to it. I'll be interested to see what the sticker people are going to do with her as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, I do want to see how she looks and feels in hand.
I think she might be better quality than Windblade in terms of QC, because I think the QC has been a little better recently, or maybe that's just the Studio Series stuff. I'm not sure. Speaking of Studio Series, we got some new Studio Series Transformers 1 stuff. We got the reveal of the Deluxe Class Bumblebee and the Deluxe Class Elita 1 as well. Is it Elita 1 that's Deluxe?
Yeah.
It says B, but it doesn't say Elita 1. Oh, and the update with... Yeah, it's right at the bottom. They don't have a specific description for the Elita 1. They've got a specific description in release for Bumblebee, but not for Elita 1 for some reason. Apparently, September 17th is when she's going to be going up, which is Transformers Day.
Yeah.
Apparently. Bumblebee, it says spring 2025. I wonder if that's incorrect, because that seems like a long way off compared to getting Elita. That's a long way off.
Yeah.
Unsurprisingly, it's going to be a similar price that you would expect. It's going to be $24.99, and I assume that's for the both of them. So, Big D, Bumblebee. We've had a few Bumblebees from Transformers 1 at this point, but this is we've had the... I think we've seen the movie version, right? The movie toy line version, and now this is the Studio Series version, much like the Optimus Prime. What do you think of this, then?
I think I prefer this in Elita to how Prime looks.
What makes you like these more than the Prime, though?
Well, Prime had that... We've talked about it, Prime had that slightly odd...
Oh, the weird grey. Yeah.
Which attracts so many people. I know the Volcans for toys are actually pretty decent, but it's one of those things you just think, but he has that weird colour on him. No, these... I mean, B, it's Bumblebee. He's yellow with greyish black and quite a few accessories, to be honest. I mean, and I'm not seeing a lot in the way of, from the angles they've shown anyway, gappage in the robot mode, which is novel. But
is the face right? The face looks a little weird to me. It's like his cheeks are really puffy, and then it sinks down into this big chin, and I don't think it looks like that for the animation model, right?
No, I do. I see what you mean there.
It's not bad head sculpt, but I don't think it's accurate.
No, I think they may have adjusted. I mean, we've seen this before where they've adjusted character models between the toy going into production, the final film here.
Yeah, I wonder if that's it.
Because, I mean, with those slightly puffier cheeks, it gives them a slightly younger vibe.
I think it's the offset of like how pointy his chin gets, though. It's almost like an animated chin, like it gets really pointy and juts out quite a lot compared to the really chubby cheeks. Like a baby with a Giga Chad chin. It's weird.
Yeah. Loaded with extra features. I mean, I'm still not sure about this rifle they're using across seemingly the whole line as like the generic Cybertronian gun in these. But I like that you've got his blades, you've got his wrist cannons. That's nice that you have pairs of both of them. Not always a given would be.
Do you think those the blades are like you don't have to have them attached to the guns? Or do you think they're always attached to the guns? I wonder.
I think they're detachable. Right? I think they're detachable.
They must be. It looks interesting. Maybe like a minor thing I'd say about the B is he's got really big pins in his knees and lower legs as well. I'm wondering why they've used pins that are that big. Usually you don't see them
that is interesting.
Front and center. Not on the deluxe figure, at least, which is kind of odd. Looks interesting, though. I really like the vehicle mode. I think the vehicle modes I prefer to the robot mode. And I think, like you, maybe I prefer him over Prime, but I'm not sure. I'd like to see how he poses in comparison to Prime, because despite the Prime having the weird, wonky colors, that Prime could move. He had a lot of posability to him. Granted, his vehicle mode was a bit messy again, and I think Beast looks a lot cleaner than that. But I don't know. Elita 1, again, there's just some... I think the face sculpt as well on Elita 1 looks slightly off. It doesn't look quite right.
I get that, yeah.
It looks like she's got some gubbins hanging under her forearms, but for the most part, it's fairly slender robot. The rifle, I think, is better on this one than on B, because they've
the extra
it.
paint goes a long way with that one.
Yeah, Bees, if you didn't know, is just a black plastic. Elita Wants is grey plastic with like a strip of black down the center of it, so it adds a little bit of something. The bike mode, if we're calling it a bike mode,
yeah,
I guess that's what she looks like in the movie.
I mean, let's be honest, we've seen worse bike modes, haven't we?
Oh yeah, it's just you look at it and you're like, I don't know.
And for robot mode, admittedly, they're only showing us a single angle.
Yeah,
is from this angle relatively free of obnoxious kibble.
Yeah,
but we can't see how deep a backpack she's got, which worries me slightly.
Yeah, she's got she's got the 2 white bits on her back, which seem to be the back of the vehicle mode. I'm guessing that's her jetpack. I think she had a jetpack in the trailers, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
something like that. I'm wondering how much articulation she has, because it looks like her arms aren't going to be able to move outwards too much because of the shoulder design. She didn't have any wrist swivels. Ball
jointed elbows. That's something at least.
Yeah. I think she's got a waist joint, but I can't tell.
Yeah, I don't see any thigh swivels.
No, they're in the top of the ball joint. If you see the ball joint, I think
I
think it's one of the hidden ones.
Yeah, I see it now. Yeah, I thought that was just straight up the hip joint, but no, I mean,
it could be. I am making an assumption. I think it might be a movable one. I don't know. It looks fine, I suppose.
Yeah,
looks okay.
Yeah.
Simon Tang says, I think it's okay, but the tires look boring. Maybe some translucency or colored rims. I wonder if you mean that for the Bumblebee. I think you mean, I think Simon means that for the Bumblebee. I think that's something that the wheels need like stickers or painting on them just to make them pop.
Yeah. I can easily see Toy Hacks giving you some nice detailed rims, energy effects for the wheels, the whole shebang.
Yeah, I can't remember what they look like from the trailers, but I agree. There has to be some paint on there that, not paint. There has to be some sticker application going on there to make it pop a little bit more. Elita's wheels, it must be B because Elita 1 doesn't have anything you can do with the wheels. They're just big wheels. I don't think I really like that bike mode. It's a weird one. I don't even know how I would describe it as a bike.
I think the thing partly makes it weird is that because of physics, she comes across looking very flat and wide.
I don't think it's that, because I think like when I look at this, if you take you see the 2 big purple bits on the side of the bike. If you remove those, it reminds me of the bike from The Dark Knight. You know, when he busts out the Batmobile.
Oh yeah, the Batpod. Yeah.
Yeah. It looks to me like one of those, that weird bike. But then you've just stuck these 2 giant purple bits on the side of the bike, and then also a gun, obviously. So maybe it's just those purple. I was saying purple. I meant pink bits. Maybe it's the pink bits on the side that just make it too wide visually for a bike for me. I don't know.
And it's unfortunate because I think those are her arms. Are
they her arms?
I think they are.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, because on the under part of her arm, she's got a pointy bit coming out the bottom of them. So yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excel Head says, bring back Buff Elita from Combiner Wars. I mean, they're not gonna. They could do. They're not gonna. Not for this movie.
I know, it's a shame. I'd love to see them take another stab at that figure, though, because I liked the design, but the execution was a little...
Yeah, it was hampered by being a Combiner Wars figure, and it having to be combinery. Wasn't it? No, it was her, and then Starscream used her mold, probably, and came out
they did
first.
Starscream first, and then they released her.
I think it was her first, though. I think she was the real mold, and Starscream was the pre-tool. That's what my assumption was.
Yeah, the mold suits Elita a lot more than Starscream, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what I could be wrong, but it seemed to me like that was probably the case. But there you go, 2 more Transformer 1 Studios figures. So we've got Prime, Megatron. We've got the whole cast now for Transformers 1 in the Studio Series. I guess if they want to keep going, they've got the side characters like Sentinel Prime.
Sentinel.
Yeah,
they've said they're doing Sentinel, haven't they?
I know we're getting a Sentinel for the movie line, but I don't know if we're getting it for Studio Series. I imagine we would do, probably. Okay. This is the confusing part when you have Studio Series and the movie line stuff, and they run in conjunction with each other. At least it gets confusing for me.
Stop being confusing.
Orange says, nah, Alita 1 was first in Power of the Prime. Oh, well, there you go. So it was Power of the Prime and then Starscream. There you go. Or the other way around. I don't know. Been a while since that. But we also, I forgot to do this in order. So we also had some reveals on Show Z. They showed off some pre-orders for the Planet X PX05R, which is a slug. It's a red version, and there's also a green version as well. This is kind of weird because the slug for Planet X came out a long time ago at this point.
It did. I mean, it's a nice figure though.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I still have mine in my cabinet with the other Planet X dinos.
Oh, I don't have any of the Planet X stuff. That was a Mikey thing. He was meant to buy them all. I couldn't afford it, so I was no. I thought they looked good though. Thought they all looked pretty fancy.
I mean, he and Grimlock Micropoint, because the previous three all had some slight issues to them. So Swoop was frankly too small. Sludge has some weird, I want to say balance issues where some of the joints feel a bit odd for how his weight's distributed.
Well, like they're loose, or they just can't hold the weight up, kind of thing.
Not loose, just he's a little odd, and some of the way some of the parts move makes you get a little bit hairy because you have to like pull stuff over joints and bend stuff out to make it work, which is not fun. And Snarl has weird ankles and a scary amount of translucent plastic.
Oh.
He's lovely, but there's a scary amount of translucent plastic in him.
It seems like this slug is going to have a decent amount of translucent plastic in it. We have the green version, which is obviously the G2 version. I'm not sure what the red was. Did G2 have a red version of Slag as well? Or Slug?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
It's a lovely pair of colors, though.
Yeah, they work
I like how both look. Yeah.
Yeah, do you have a preferred one? I think I like the red one more. It's more of a consistent
I was going to
color.
say the red one. I mean, I'd have liked to have seen more pictures of the G2 green one, though, because that does actually look quite nice, but we only got a fairly small image of him. But given what we have to go on, yeah, the red version. And it feels more slug, you know? Of all the Done-Ups, he would be the one who was red and fiery and angry all the time.
I would say so. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I'm wondering if, because didn't Planet X do a G2 Grimlock a while ago? I'm guessing this is just them continuing that. It feels again like they did that Grimlock a while ago. Orange says Grimlock was blue, Slag was green, and Snarl was the red one. Well, now he's both green and red. Both of them now. For whatever reason,
you have options.
Yeah, I just wish I knew why he was both colors. It's interesting though. I don't think we have much information. It says late August release, which is last month. So they're not out yet. So that can't be entirely true. I'm sure it'll be updated at some point. No pre-order price. You can just put in your £1 or your $1 deposit to get these things. They both come with both guns and both swords, which I assume they originally came with as well.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Yep.
I guess. I guess if you want, prepare to get the G2 versions of the Planet X Dinobots, if you're so inclined.
I mean, they've not moved them too hard. I mean, they've done the standard versions, metallic versions, and now the G2 versions.
I guess. And Orange says the red Slag is pretty nice fire type, though. He's the flamethrower Dinobot after all. Yeah, it makes sense. X Transbot shows off a CG render of Ballistic Misfire, which is Misfire. There's not a huge amount to say here, but we've got like information on what it will come with. He's going to have diecast. He's going to be 22 centimeters tall. He's going to have biocard instructions. Target Warrior Fouling. It's an interesting name. 2 replaceable faces. Features metallic fully painted. Cockpit door opens. Easy transformation, I should say. Clear windows. Diecast pieces. Total weight of 500 grams. Ab crunch. Ratchet joints. Landing gear rolls out. And then we just have a few images of the CG render. So it's very early days, but again, it looks pretty basic. in terms of the transformation. And as usual,
Yeah.
I don't hear great things about X-Transbots generally.
No.
But
It's a shame because it's always nice to see people taking a stab at characters like this.
yeah, it's a little bit more left field. What do you think of the renders? Because I think they do look. I mean, they are renders, but it feels very basic.
It does. I mean, if it's anything close to this in reality, it's going to be blocky as hell. And I mean, it might look all right, but like you say, the X-Transbots don't have the best of reputations.
No.
And I mean, the bot mode doesn't necessarily. I don't feel like the bot mode is represented by that alt mode properly.
What do you mean?
I can't say why, but it feels like there's stuff that they've cheated with. Like it's two separate renders. So it's a render of the jet mode and a render of the robot mode, but they've not actually. It's not actually one render that they then manipulated to. It's more how they intend them to look in both modes, not necessarily how they will look in both modes.
I wonder. Yeah, I wonder. I think they're probably the same one.
Maybe I might be being too harsh.
I mean, I looked at the very last image in particular of the jet mode, and you can see how the legs will fold up and peg in and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, you could be right. They could just be two separate renders as well. It just looks so basic in terms of what it actually does. I can believe it's just that simple, because it does boast a simple transformation as well.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with a simple transformation.
Well, there is, depending on the price of the figure.
Well, there is that.
If it's priced like a masterpiece, then you'd expect a little bit more. At least I would, in terms of what it does and what it should do. But, if you're in the market for X-Transbots, there's one coming.
I'd like to see what it looks like at the end of once they've done it,
Yeah, prototypes and then the real version. Yeah. We'll talk about it eventually when that finally happens as well. We have the last two stories, which are Doctor Who related. We have the DWE47 and the E45. I don't know what 46 was. Guessing Kickback, but this is the set of Smokescreen and Bombshell. Oh, it's 47 and 48. Smokescreen and Bombshell. And 45 and 46, which is Lightning, Blue Streak, and Shrapnel. So these are the Micromaster-styled small guys. We have CG renders of them, no real versions. One's called Dust Smoke. The other is Beetlehorn. We've got Silver Lightning and Clawworm. So I don't know if these are well-loved or anything like that, but they're still going, so they can't be doing too bad for business-wise.
No, I mean, Doctor Who, generally, from what I gather, their stuff is
fine.
It's not overly expensive. It does what it looks like. They don't tend to over-egg people's expectations.
Yeah, I don't think they do a huge amount of transforming. I think they probably transform similar to the G1 toys, but then have a bit of articulation to it from the looks of things, which is fine.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah, but look, it could be fun.
Yeah, obviously these are just CG renders, so and then the last set will probably be it'll be Prowl and Kickback, won't it? Yeah, those are the only two that haven't been shown, so they'll be coming up in the future as well. Apparently they're coming out in the first quarter of next year. Whether that holds true or not, is anyone's guess. Things can change. These things tend to do. Pre-orders are coming. Estimated release pre-order first quarter. Oh, there wasn't anything extra there. My bad. Yeah, that's it. That's all of the news for this week, Big D.
Wow.
Unless you had anything else that you were hiding from me.
Not news-wise.
News-wise.
No.
No. All right.
We could chat about what new stuff we've got on it.
Yeah, I was about to ask what you've been up to this week, what you done for fun and all that jazz.
Not a massive amount. When I saw Batman Mask of Phantasm on Wednesday, as we've already discussed.
Yeah, in the cinema, right?
At the cinema, which was delightful.
Best Batman movie, hands down.
Yep. And on the big screen, it holds up really well, even after all this time. Otherwise, I've been building more 40k stuff. Got some more parts in to work to add more bits to my Firstborn Death Company units. I've been building some Solar Auxilia to use as Imperial Guardsmen.
Mm-hmm.
And tonight I just built one of the new Stormcast characters from Skaven Tide box. Took me less than an hour to do him, which I was kind of impressed by, given he's big and mounted on a big old beastie.
Are you going to try and get them all sprayed soon just because, winter's coming and you won't be able to do it for like 6 more months?
That'd be silly, Andy. I need to get some boxes to store everything in first.
Oh, damn.
I've remember covering the top of my computer desk on every bit of paperwork I've had lying on top of things, so it's a bit
How do you store your models? Do you have do you magnetize them and then put like a magnet sheet in like a box of some kind?
Well, I actually did start doing that. I did that with specifically some Infinity stuff, where I got a really useful box and one of those magnetic sheets and slapped some magnets in all the bases.
Yeah.
And that's actually worked really nicely. And I've done the same thing with some bigger boxes for my Imperial Knights. But for the rest of my stuff, I haven't gotten around to doing that yet. So most of it is in really useful boxes, but there's nothing holding them onto the bases.
Right.
Onto the bottom of the box, I should
so
say.
if you pick them up, they'll just slide all over the place, potentially.
Yeah, but that's a to-do list job. And honestly, I need to get more of them because some of them are just all... I've used the boxes just to fill with as many Marines as possible because I have too many of the damn things. But it's work in progress.
Simon Tang asked, where do you buy the magnet sheets? The magnet sheets. And how much usually? There you go.
Well, that's the thing. I went to a specific website because you can get them off of like Amazon and places, and you can just buy packs of sheets, but they won't be fitted to a really useful box. They'll just be like A4 size. But there's a website I used, and I can't remember the name of it. I do apologize. Where they offer, you can either buy packs of the fairer sheets that you then cut yourself, and they're relatively cheap. I think they were like £10 for 10 sheets, something like that. But if you wanted them cut to fit a really useful box, then you would end up paying I think it was like £15 for 5. So you're paying, but because it's a bespoke job, it's a custom thing that they're doing. So you can't just get it anywhere. So it's the odd hobby tax. But they also sell magnets as well. So it's actually quite a convenient way of doing that. But I mean, I've gotten the magnets off of Amazon as well, to be fair.
I think usually I've got magnets off of eBay, generally.
Yeah. Just look for neodymium magnets. I think...
loads of places that do magnets.
I think 2 mil by 3 mil, I want to say, because that gives you a decent enough fit width and it's not too thick then.
Yeah. Unless you got a bigger figure, then you obviously need a bigger magnet as well.
Yeah. But there's options.
I guess you could just use lots of small magnets for a bigger figure as well.
Yeah, I mean,
my Knights you have.
My Knights I got some bigger magnets for, and I've just put like 4 or 5 around each one's base. Just to stick it properly in place. Works a treat. I tried it, and I literally turned the box sideways on with 2 Knights and an armager in.
I mean, that's brave.
Yes, I will admit I was clinching at the time.
Why did you do it? Just to see?
I wanted to see if it worked. I was excited. I'd done something.
Oh, I wouldn't be not knowing how much Knights cost. I'd be like, it's fine. I'll just believe
One thing I would recommend though is that you will need to get some because super glue is the main sticking point. Because most super glue to attach the.
That was your joke. Yes. You made it.
Yes. Have a round of applause. But no, most super glues, because they leave a vapor. Even if you can't see it, there will be a vapor that can. It's what causes the misting on plastics, on clear plastics. If you use super glue on it or around it, but you can get glues that are they don't have residues. So I got a bottle of Hobby King odorless thin glue, and yeah, you know how you normally get that that distinctive super glue smell.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, none of that. Completely odorless. Doesn't mist anything up. I've used it on some transparent pieces in the past, and you wouldn't know that there's any glue on there.
Does it only matter if it has like translucent pieces then?
That's what normally causes for misting. So if you're using it in a transparent box, then it can be an
I see
issue.
what you're saying. Okay. Yeah. Simon says super glue cause a chemical reaction and can eat the paint. We can.
It can, but that's why we're putting it on the bottom of the box and then putting a sheet of ferrous material on top of that.
Yep. And you'll be all good. Yeah, obviously don't apply super glue to painted stuff. Unless you don't care. If you don't care, who cares?
I've done that myself in the past and had super glue set with no problems. So that's weird.
I think it just means that it can like react with the paint, I suppose.
Yeah, I suppose it can do.
I think super glue is less reactive to the paint than like the plastic cement you and I would usually use. That stuff will eat through paint really quickly.
Oh yeah, because acrylic plastic cement is just going to eat through acrylic paint because that's all it is. It's plastic.
Yeah, I tell you what I need to get at some point. I need to get some. Wow, fuck, what's it called? It's like a varnish. There's the varnish people use for painting up action figures. I think it's like Mr. Hobby. I think it's Mr. Hobby Super Clear or something like that.
Yeah, I've heard that the Mr. Hobby range is the good stuff.
Yeah,
it's more expensive per can, but it does it's got the most consistency and is really good. Oddly enough,
not on Amazon.co.uk, which is kind of weird. I was like, it's not on there. That's odd.
Yeah, I think they have carried it, but it tends to sell very quickly. It might be worth trying one of the Gun Plus specialty sites because they normally all have it in some form or other.
Well, I know that it's not my quote unquote local hobby store, but I know a hobby store on the way to my friend's house has that stuff, or they tout to having it. So next time I'm able to go to his, the idea is to go in and grab him. Or well, not grab him, but grab the super coat. Because I'd like to paint up my Null figure. Because I like Null quite a lot, but the figure's missing a lot of, like, he's got a load of paint, a load of detail sculpted into his face, but because his skin's just kind of like grayish white, it loses all the detail. And like in the comics, he has really like panda eyes, like emo girl panda eyes, because he's like evil.
Yeah.
And obviously that's not painted into the figure, so I could do that just like a black wash, as long as
that's
it's super topping.
Yeah,
I've seen people do really good things with Null, so I wouldn't mind having a go, because I like I say, I think Null is one of the better Marvel events they've had within recent memory.
Oh yeah, it was a bonkers event.
Yeah, got a little bit messy with the tie-ins, but I think just the standard Venom stuff. Like if someone was going to say, should you get the omnibus, I'd be like, nah, just get the Venom omnibus.
Yeah,
so it'd be better, generally speaking.
And it brought Flashback, which I got a fist bump out of that because I actually like how his character evolved over the years.
Yeah, it's a shame that they kind of Agent Venom kind of just stopped.
Yeah, but they found a way to bring him back as Agent Anti-Venom, which...
yeah, I thought it was a bit silly. I think it's like Venom, Anti-Venom. Oh, everybody gets to be Anti-Venom now, but it's like, oh, okay, sure. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. I mean, when I get around to it, I've got the MCP version of Agent Venom. He's going to be done up as Agent Anti-Venom because I just like that inverted version of the costume. So
yeah, they're a good look. What else you been up to apart from that?
Otherwise, had a few bots turn up in the last few weeks.
What did you get?
I got Road Pig from the Star Raiders, who is surprisingly entertaining.
Who's that based off of? The mold?
That is the Junkie on Bike.
Yeah, I was so disappointed it was like that color scheme because I wanted that mold. I thought that mold looked interesting, but I've yet to have like a color scheme that I like the look of to go along with it, unfortunately.
That's fair. I mean, in hand, I actually quite like how they feel. There's a nice spread of like glossy blacks and matte blacks, and the red is quite nice, and there's some nice gold detailing and silvers. So I'm happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
It works for this particular bunch. Studio Series Bumblebee 86.
Oh, what do you think of him? I like him. I think he's a really good toy.
I'm glad that he's what they're making him one of their evergreen shelf characters because this one deserves to be available to as many people as possible.
Yeah,
it's
I think
great.
my only issue with him is I think to make it look like he's more worth the price that you're paying for him because he's so small, I think it would have been wise to include some accessories with him.
I get that, yeah.
Because Gruff sent me a message showing me a picture of the animated Optimus Prime Voyager on sale for $24.99, and then he showed me the Bumblebee picture, and he says these are the same price. I'm like, well, to be fair, the animated Optimus Prime has been on sale for ages, and they haven't got rid of him from stores, so they're trying to get him the fuck out of the store.
I mean, he's down to $14.99 in some places.
Yeah, I'm still not interested. I'd be more interested if $14.99 if it was Motormaster, to be honest. But Gruff was more surprised about like how much Bumblebee is for the size of him because he is not a big figure.
No,
he's very small.
However,
I did say
loaded with engine.
Yeah, I said the same thing. I said he's got the engineering. I don't know if he's got enough to justify the price. I don't know. But I feel he does. But I still think he needed just something else in the box just to make it look like you're getting a bit more for your money, you know?
I can understand that. I mean, I love things like how the legs how the feet form. And how when you transform him, the hood basically expands out and you get the bit with the Autobot logo on his hood.
I wish you could get rid of it on the top because then he has two Autobot insignias.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. It's just one of those things. It would have been nice if there was just like a push thing where you could push down on it and it would spin it around for you.
It would. And I know some people have had a go about the fact he's not a Beetle. He's a...
Oh, I don't care about that.
No, he turns into an adorable penny racer, and that's me. That's me sorted.
It's not 100% accurate, but I think it's close enough that they were probably legally allowed to do. I feel.
Yeah.
So it's like that's fine. His robot mode is the best Bumblebee we've had.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt.
I'm thinking.
I would
is
say
that fair to say?
That's the best G1 Bumblebee I've handled.
He's way better than Masterpiece. Way better than Masterpiece. Masterpiece had that awful backpack. The last Bumblebee had the awful backpack as well that you could take unpeg. You know, got done into Goldberg and that mold,
and all the others.
That wasn't great.
I prefer the like Bug Bite, Cliff Jumper. I like those two. Probably, I actually like how they work, even if the backpack thing does irk me slightly. I mean, let's see. The Thrilling 30 version was not brilliant, even though it was a nice idea of trying to give him a bigger kind of a cross between the movie and the G1 looks. Even if it was originally Nightbeat. Honestly, before this, the nicest bee I'd handled was the Classics version. Which
you're probably right.
Which I'd only say wins out because it's got a more unique alt mode.
You mean wins out compared to the other ones? You mean not compared to this one, right?
No, this one. If that one had this one's level of articulation, so ankle tilts, all the swivels and everything that's going on, then that would have stomped all over this one. But as it is, this one takes it because it has just enough of everything.
The Classics is actually a good example because he was a small deluxe as well, but he came with, granted, not a lot. He came with that weird jet ski thing that could turn into a backpack.
Yeah.
It was just a little extra that made you go, okay. They're trying to justify the price a little bit more. That's what this one needed. And yeah, you were right. The Classics B was pretty fun. It was a pretty good little mold, and still kind of, I think, survives pretty well to this day for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, I've still got him and Cliff Jumper around here somewhere. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm torn though as to because we know they're going to do a Cliff Jumper version of this figure.
Yeah,
and I just don't know if I want because I don't know if part of me wonders should Cliffjumper be a little bit bigger? So would I prefer just to stick with the Siege version?
Should he be a little bit bigger? I guess not a lot bigger. Maybe a little taller, but not like massively taller. Yeah. I don't know. I'd be interested to see what they do with him, because I think they'd have to remold his feet, they'd have to remold the chest, have to remold the head, and I guess they'd have to remold the backpack panel as well.
I'll probably say they could probably get away with just doing the feet and the head.
No, they have to do the. Could they get away with it? They might be able to get away with the chest.
Yeah.
The feet definitely.
Yeah.
There's no way they can get around the feet. The head, obviously.
The back of the car is much. I would have said that was much more Cliffjumper than Bumblebee anyway. So
probably.
But we'll see. It's inevitable. They're gonna do it, so we just have to wait and see how it looks.
Orange says Cliffjumper is the same height as Bumblebee. Well, there you go. And out of everybody I know, Orange is the
I know that in the fiction. I know that in the series they're the same height. I just like the idea that Cliffjumper should be a little bigger because he's a tough guy.
Okay, well if that's the case, then you should stick with that, because they're not going to just make him taller.
Yeah,
it's a studio series. They're anal about height and whatnot. Did you get anything else along with Bumblebee?
Yeah, I've had Legacy Cybertron Hotshot arrive, and Vector Prime should be with me tomorrow.
Why are they coming separately? Is it just how they're getting delivered? Because it's weird they haven't all been just.
It's how my orders went through.
Weird.
Hotshot, the payment went through, and Vector Prime had to wait a couple of days because I had more money.
Fair enough.
But yeah, Hotshot is pretty insane. Actually, he's. I have the original version around here, and in some ways it copies that one a little too much. But it's nice to have a version of it that poses without falling over. So it's part of the same reason I like the Velocitron Override figure. But it's exactly the same as the Cybertron version, except it's not overbalanced by gimmicks.
Yeah, they've just got like more articulation and stuff, don't they?
And has joints that aren't going to become loose after you look at it. But yeah, he's fun, but a little bit flawed. He's got shoulders. Well, his shoulders are high, to say the least, but he looks good. Forms a nice, nifty little sports car, and I'm looking forward to getting Vector Prime in because I like Vector Prime. He's fun. Yeah,
that's one that I don't think is going to be better than the original, though, because it's obviously using a mold that I don't think works super well for him. I think he looks like an okay robot mode, but I don't think it captures Vector Prime as well as especially if you compare him to Hotshot / Exilion.
Yeah.
That's literally, it's just the same toy, but with better joints, like you said. That's not the case with the Vector Prime. I think it looks like an okay attempt, but I don't think it's going to hit the same oomph as the original one. And he doesn't have a Unicon either, obviously.
Yeah, Vector, I'm already looking at. I've already seen prototypes of at least 4 or 5 different upgrade kits to make him look better.
Oh, okay.
And it's weird. One of those is completely unpainted.
Oh.
One looks good because it's got like the wings with the edges painted and other bits. But that one also comes with a whole lot of stuff that's not painted.
All right.
Yeah, randomly. But no, I look forward to seeing it in hand. And I mean, I already have 2 completely different versions of Vector Prime already. The black and brown one and the original white and the one from the 2-pack with Starscream.
The crappy American one, right?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, so him and the Universe version.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be an upgrade from that at the very least. I've got the Japanese version, so I've got the best version, I'd argue.
Yeah, nice
it was horrific what America did to Vector Prime. I don't know why they did it.
Yeah, the plastic on the wings of that version came out of the packaging warped.
Yeah,
which I never understood how that happened.
It was such an ugly ass color that just didn't look right. It's like it was a completely different color scheme from how he looked in the show. Made no fucking sense.
But then the Universe version in that nice black, kind of metallic brown and silver trim, his wings don't have that problem at all. they're nice and flat and stable, and it's like, huh?
Is the assumption that they just used the Japanese mold and just repainted that?
Maybe,
I
but
don't know. It's
but
weird.
yeah, it's been a fun all week for stuff, and I have books and books and books. So my Blood Angel box should arrive tomorrow as well.
Ew. And then you'll have more things that go on the painting pile. Building pile and painting pile, I should say.
It doesn't get smaller.
No, never does.
But I'm working on it.
You're getting through.
And of course, I'm also getting some Kriegers built because they've announced they're getting a full release. And of course, I just finished building the plastic command squad for them.
Woo!
That's how my life goes.
All right. That's it?
So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, cool. I got season 2 and 3 of Batman Brave and the Bold and have basically gone through those. It's not as good as I remember. There's one episode that's pretty good, which is Chill in the Night or something like that, which is Batman goes after Joe Chill and has the Spectre and the Phantom Stranger being like, uphold justice, fucking kill him, etc., etc. And then the rest of the episodes, at least in season 2, have been very 6 out of 10-y. They're like, they're fine, they're okay. Kind of nice kind of references back to the old school comics. And then season 3 has just been a big letdown. It's been some really waffy, nonsense, crappy episodes, I would say. Okay. Just like, Jesus Christ. They've been rough to get through. The last episode of the season, though, was a Batmite episode about cancelling the show.
Oh yeah, I've seen clips of that episode,
which I felt was somewhat ironic and kind of nice. I was like, oh, this is kind of a good way to end the show because it's kind of a meta way, and Batman ends it by going, oh, I'm gonna bring the hammers of justice, but thank you everybody for watching this series. I was like, well, that's kind of a nice little way to close out the show. It's a shame the rest of the season's been kind of dog water, but I've also been watching. Today and yesterday, basically, I've been watching season 2 of Spider-Man the 90s show. What's it called? The Neogenics Nightmare series.
Yeah. Oh god, that arc went on for ages.
It's the whole series. It's a through arc for the whole series. I think it's really good. I like the Neogenics kind of subplot of like going through the entire series and having this connecting thing of the Michael Morbius to Peter turning into the Man Spider, to the Tombstone stuff with the Tablet of Time. I'm like, damn, this is way better than Batman Brave and the Bold. In terms of storytelling, in terms of animation, the problem with the 90s show is it had CGI, which it just shouldn't have been there. The CGI is not good, really out of place. And reusing animation frames in really awkward places. Peter enters a room and it's clearly a room in his house, but it's used for him entering a room in the university, and you're like, but it's just not right.
Ouch.
There's a lot of that. Granted, Batman Brave and the Bold uses, the explosion from the intro of the Batman animated series where the bank explodes.
Yes.
DC had a tendency to use that explosion and explosions from the Batman animated show many, 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 many times throughout multiple different shows afterwards. Batman Brave and the Bold, it reused explosions, that one, quite a lot.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know that explosion. Explosion. You've sped it up.
At least they were using a good explosion.
No, yeah, true. It's just funny that it's a show much later. I know animation's very expensive, but it was funny to see. It's not nearly as egregious as the 90s Spider-Man show, which did it a horrific amount. But the actual storytelling, I'm really enjoying it. It's like, oh yeah, 90s Spider-Man was a really good show, apart from its animation issues, I suppose.
I mean, my biggest complaint about that show was I never liked how they went from the very saturated look of the X-Men cartoon to the slightly more pastel shades of Spider-Man.
The actual animation differences between the two are stark. Like the crossover with X-Men in the Spider-Man show, and you just look at them, you're like, they look nothing like the animation style in the X-Men show. Nothing. I actually prefer the animation style of the X-Men show. It's not just the colors. It's like the... I know ACOM did the animation for the X-Men series because I'm reading the animation book at the moment, but I don't know. I mean, it was clearly not ACOM who did the Spider-Man show because it's just so very, very visually different. I think whoever did the Spider-Man show was the standard that did the rest of the Marvel shows at that time.
That sounds about right, to be honest. Yeah,
and I think it was them who did the last season. No, I don't think it was them. Whoever did the season 2 of Iron Man, season 2 of Fantastic Four, and I think the last part of the Hulk did the last season of X-Men as well, which is why it looked so poo. I think. Because, man, when they changed that animation style, when X-Men dropped, when they changed Apocalypse's voice and it sounded way different from his first appearances, that's when you knew the show started going downhill. I don't know if it was a different voice actor, though. It might have been. Or it might have just been how they encoded the voice for the special effects.
Did Tim Curry voice Mr. Sinister in the X-Men?
No. Not in the 90s show, at least.
No. My brain, for some reason, was just thinking, was that Tim Curry doing Mr. Sinister?
Maybe in the X-Men Evolution? I don't know. Because I don't know X-Men Evolution too well.
I don't think he turned up in Evolution, to be honest. My brain, for some reason, was just thinking, did Tim Curry do Mr. Sinister? Because he's such an obvious fit,
No, I don't. No, he didn't do it in the 90s. And I was thinking, was he in Wolverine and the X-Men? And it's like, no, that was... I think that was Lex Luthor. I think it was Lex Luthor.
Clancy Brown.
Yeah, I think it was Clancy Brown that did him in Wolverine and the X-Men, but I'm not sure.
I'd forgotten that.
I think it's him. He doesn't turn... I think he's in like only a couple of episodes, so it's hard to remember. I need to get like Spectacular Spider-Man at some point because that's a really good... that's the best Spider-Man cartoon. I need to pick up the Blu-ray at some point.
I really need to watch that at some point because I still haven't watched...
Ooh,
no.
Really
well,
good.
It was when that one came out and because I only ever watched the Spider-Man and X-Men cartoons originally on BBC Saturday morning TV.
Yeah.
On Live and Kick or whatever I was doing at the time. And Spectacular Spider-Man, if I remember rightly, went straight to Sky.
Probably.
So it never showed terrestrially. So I just never got around to watching it.
I mean, I never saw it here because it was like... I don't even remember what year Spectacular Spider-Man came out. I think it was 2013, something like that. I think it was after 2010 when Spectacular Spider-Man came out. But I can't remember when. Have you seen Wolverine and the X-Men? Earth's Mightiest Heroes, Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes?
Oh, yes. I've seen both of those too.
I mean, this is done by the same guy. It was part of the same universe. So I know some people weren't a big fan of the art style for the series, but if you don't like it and you just get by it...
I dug the art style.
Really well.
It was kind of trying to give them everyone a bit of a fresh rework. Not massive, but just enough to get people interested.
It was mainly the big eyes people didn't like. They was very it wasn't an anime look. I'm not sure how to describe the art style, but a lot of people didn't like just the general aesthetic of like the human characters, which is fine.
Yeah.
But the actual storytelling was fantastic. I recommend it. Yeah. I think you'll have a good time with it. It's way better than any of the other Spider-Man cartoons that have came out within recent memory because they've all been shit.
Fair shout.
And it's better than the bizarre MTV Spider-Man show, which was also very strange. That was a very, very strange show. Simon Tang says, Andy, did you buy Space Marine 2? Not yet. I plan to get it, I think, when my buddy Daddy, Discord mod, picks it up. And then the idea will be to play on stream at some point.
Yeah. I'd like to get it, but I don't think my machine will run it.
No, it would no.
I'd like to give it a go, but my system may...
No, it won't. It won't.
Yeah.
I don't know how well mine will handle it. I won't be able to run it on full. I'm hoping at the very least I'll be able to just do medium, mid kind of graphics. But, the longer you leave it, the cheaper it will get and the more content the game will have.
Very true.
So there's the bonus to that. XL Hedge says 90 Spider-Man is fantastic. 4, as in not the number, but FOR for Spider-Man Carnage. I tried that we always get... Oh, tired. I'm tired that we always get Venom Spider-Man, but no Spider-Man Carnage. Because Carnage, usually you have to pull back on Carnage.
Yeah. I was genuinely surprised that they did put Carnage into that cartoon because it was just after Maximum Carnage, which I'd been reading and was continually amazed by how brutal it was for the time. So,
yeah. I mean, they still say Cletus Cassidy. What did they say? They didn't call him a serial killer in the cartoon, did they?
No, they danced around it.
Yeah, I was thinking. I don't think they just called him a criminal. I think they suggested he was more than just a criminal, but I can't remember what.
They did play up that he was a nasty character, but they tiptoed around things for the audience.
And in the Spider-Man video game, I think 2, he's a cult leader, which I'm like, that's a weird way of doing it. But I have issues with that Spider-Man 2 game, but then I have issues after the first Spider-Man game with how Sony did those games. Because the first Spider-Man game is really good. The Miles Morales game is not good. And then the second Spider-Man game is not good either, unfortunately.
Oh, you meant the recent Spider-Man game? I thought you were talking about the original Spider-Man. Old Spider-Man games.
Now, when you say the old Spider-Man games, I get. I mean, there's. I mean,
the PlayStation era onwards.
Oh, see, the PlayStation ones were pretty fun. I really enjoyed like collecting all the costumes in that first one. Wasn't the second one you worked with Venom for a bit?
You did, and there was some delightful dialogue between the two of them in certain scenes. It has some.
By today's standards, they were very fun and quaint, I think is the best way to phrase it. I think they were better than some of the PlayStation 2 games. Not all of them. Because obviously the Spider-Man 2 video game on PlayStation 2 based on the movie was it was the standard that made Spider-Man games afterwards.
Yeah. I mean, the last Spider-Man game dedicated Spider-Man game I've played was Ultimate Spider-Man on the PS2.
Damn, PlayStation 2, yeah.
Yeah. Which I both adored and got irked by. Because on the one hand, I love the animation, the style, making it full self-shading. I love that it was actually a story written by Bendis that tied into the actual comic at the time.
Yep.
However, I got really hacked off that they simplified the web slinging. Since Spider-Man 2, the web slinging was you used both shoulder buttons and you had spectacular amounts of control. And in Ultimate Spider-Man, you had a single button used for web slinging, and you could not get any precision out of it, which for some of the races you had to do made them an absolute nightmare. And some of those were story critical as well.
Yeah.
So I understand what they were aiming for, because they're thinking, oh, it's going to go to a younger audience, so we'll simplify the control.
Yeah.
But it's not a babyish game, because it's actually pretty brutal. Because Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate Venom was a fairly full-on story at the time, so but hey-ho, it's what it is.
Yeah, it's weird. What else have I been up to? Have I done anything else? I've been just playing more Midnight Suns at the moment. Cool. Enjoying that quite a bit. Gameplay-wise, still story-wise is still a bit on the it's not great, but we're making progress. Do I have anything else? No, it's just been the weird slight sort of holiday that I'm on at the moment, which isn't really a proper holiday, but it is at the same time. And I just keep looking online to see if the sites have got like the Marvel Legends Venom figure in. Because In-Demand Toys have been pushing that back for like 2 or 3 weeks now. You know, when you go on the site and it's got like the pre-order and it's coming out and it has this date every day, it's like I go on and go, okay, it's meant to be out like today, and it's like, no, we pushed it back another week. It's like, oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I can feel that. I'm waiting for a big Kickstarter to fulfill. I did BattleTech Mercenaries.
Oh yeah, I think I remember you mentioning that. Yeah,
yeah, because I've kind of gotten back into BattleTech in a big way, and the communication about non-American shipping has not been brilliant.
Oh.
Everyone's wondering, well, what's going on?
Yeah,
Please give us an update. We're hoping shipment should start before Christmas at this point.
Right.
It'd be nice if it started sooner, to be honest, but a lot of us are not expecting it until before Christmas, which, given it's supposed to go to retail in October, is annoying.
Yeah.
But we shall see. It'll be nice when it arrives. That's how I'm taking it. But when it gets there, it's going to be lovely.
I'm going to have to get in contact with Ami, because I think it's been over 2 months now since my Magmatron was put in the post.
Ooh, did they give you any tracking on it?
Yeah, it tracked up to Japan and then stopped. So I'm gonna have to contact. Usually they don't do anything with when it's in 2 months, and you're like, "Oh, just wait 2 months." So now we're kind of passing that 2-month period. I'm gonna have to get in contact and be like,
"It's odd that it's taken quite that long because the last time I got anything sent,
it's usually a lot faster than that. It's usually not 2 months.
It's still not mega fast, but it's normally better than that.
Yeah,
but,
So gonna have to see what's happening with that at some point.
Yeah. I hope they can sort it out for me because.
Well, if not, they need to give me my fucking money back because I haven't got the product. And it's like, what, 80 quid something, 70 quid?
Yeah.
So I could, I'd rather that.
Absolutely.
I think that's it. I think that's all I've really been up to that's been of any interest. I got to renew my driver's license. That's fun.
Yeah. I got mine back rather suddenly because I don't know if I've mentioned it, but I had my license revoked because of my sleep apnea.
Oh, okay.
Because I told them about it and before I started treatment. But I'd actually been on for treatment since I told them and have felt 1,000,000 times more alert during the daytime than I have in like the last decade at least.
Right.
Just by wearing this breathing mask at night. But they because of that initial diagnosis, they revoked my license.
Damn.
So I had to. Well, it's been sorted.
Oh, that's good. That's the main thing.
I just had to go to the sleep clinic and get them to fill out the forms that said yes, he's into treatment. He's being dealt with. He's under observation.
Yeah.
He's good to drive because they get a lot of people. The nurses there were great, to be honest. They were saying, "Yeah, we get a lot of this. Don't worry about it. It's fine." It's a pain initially. They understood that I was getting all flustered and stressed out by it, so they were great.
Oh, that's good at least.
And sent everything back to the DVLA. A couple of weeks ago, I had a thing come back from them saying they were having to contact the sleep clinic for more information. So I thought, all right, fine, it'll be another month or so at least. And then a week after that, letter arrived from with my new license.
Oh, easy.
Yeah, I've got to renew it every 5 years now. But that's what happens when you have that's what happens when you have an ongoing condition. So
yeah. Excel Hedge says 2 months. Andy, did you only pay for the ground shipping? I paid for the cheapest shipping, whatever the cheapest shipping was. That's why I always do.
Have you met Andy?
I do the cheapest thing I can because I don't have money. I do what I can. So, hopefully that'll be sorted out. Anyway, we'll be back next week, everybody. Where can people find you on the internet, Big D?
Oh, I am all over socials as David Kelly. Look for either this charming underhive visage you see next to Andy or a picture of Cup, because that's my go-to images these days. I'm also one of the mods on the Fluff and Hammer Discord, where I also have currently been doing Fluff and Hammer mini episodes with Gruff, which have been entertaining as hell. I do the Fluff and Busters show with Mr. White, where we pick a film and it's not a commentary, we just talk over it. And then Gruff releases it into the wild. So far we've done Starship Troopers, Ultramarines, Mutant Chronicles, and this week we did the Warriors.
Woo! Did you have fun? Was it good?
It was brilliant fun. Next up is going to be Predator, where we might also have a special guest on for that one.
Oh, cool.
So, and I also do the monthly watch along in the Discord server. We've just done Pat Labor of a movie and The Wolfman last night, which was quite an interesting pairing. And we've rolled up next month's films, which is going to be Critters 2 and Van Helsing.
Hey, that's a fun film.
Yeah. Other than that, I contribute to theUKAnime.net from time to time. And as one of their resident mecha heads. So
cool.
That's me.
Well, you can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube as Decade Andy. You can find this podcast on Moonbase 2 forums, Twitter, Twitch, iTunes, YouTube as Moonbase 2 Transformers Podcast. Just the general places you'll find us. We're on the ccbunker.weebly.com as well. And if you want to join us on the YouTube or the Twitch, you can join us at 8 o'clock in the evening on a Sunday. Like all the fine people who've joined us today. Thank you very much for coming on by.
Ooh.
Thank you, Big D, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
And next week, we shall be covering Hasbro PulseCon, as long as it happens. I can't think why it wouldn't, but that should be fun. Hopefully, there'll be a lot of entertaining things coming out then. Until next week, we'll see you next time, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.